And but I thought it was so interesting that we both like, you know, used that wall, like the same wall, and for very different purposes, I think.
So your artwork speaks to the people that are walking by. I mean, it's not just images or embellishments. It's you also do you have words involved in your street art?
I try to,
yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I try to like make a statement, but I do actively stay away from using words. I think it's interesting to play with just images. I think working with words is fun and interesting. I just prefer images, I think. So
and art is like language, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's an expression. You know, you take the external world and internalize it, and then speak, you know, or interpret.
I think it's a visual language. I think I speak visually much better than some other forms of communication that we use. So
it's interesting. So you're more comfortable with that.
Yeah, I can draw for 12 hours, but you know, I start reading and I like fall asleep halfway down the page, and it's just like, you know, I can read visually, whether it be like the lines or the colors or shapes or something. But yeah, I think there's a language in and of itself of like visual arts.
Does all of your street art, public art have intention? Are they always making a statement?
I think so, and I usually try to stay in like the joyful side of things. But yeah, I mean, something I painted recently was like a robot watering some wildflowers, and there was like an urban there was like an urban landscape into this robot, and then flowers, and it was just this kind of machine versus nature. And there was some narrative for me behind it about just like what COVID is and kind of that juncture between nature and machine. So that's something I painted in Des Moines on 34th and St. John's Road. So
when did you do that? It wasn't.
That was like
our week, is it?
That was like March, the second or third week in March. I did that.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
I'm going to throw something out there. What do you think about perfection? Do you believe in it?
No, I think perfection's terrible. I think it's toxic. I think it's helpful. I think it is a moving target. I think it's detrimental when it prevents you from creating, or it prevents you from saying something's finished, or you know, if it.
So is that always a antithesis to your aesthetic?
I think it's become part of my aesthetic because
the avoidance of perfection.
Yeah, I don't know that it's the avoidance of it so much as like the acknowledgement of it, in the sense of like Japanese artwork. For example, like a Japanese potter, there's a type of pottery that the kiln and the ash from the kiln creates the texture and the pattern of the pottery. And so just that idea of like, you've put 50% of the work in by creating this clay, and then you leave the other 50% up to the fire and the ash to like color it. And yeah, so I think that is something I saw in Maine in like 2015, maybe 2015. And that's been really impactful as well. Just the idea of like, you know, you bring something halfway, whether it be like I'll bring my hand and pen to the paper, but like I'll try to close my mind off to let it create. And hopefully it's that element of like I bring half of it to the table, and you know, the other half is creativity. So
on the other hand, does that do permanence, or does perfection and permanence, do they relate to each other?
I think they do. And yeah, it's really nice that you bring that up, because the permanent component of a mural, at one point I may have thought like, oh, if it's not going to be permanent, why would I put it up? But I think it's important to acknowledge kind of this all things change component, and how rare permanency is. I think something, very few things are permanent. So I think that has been very influential for me.
So what's your timeline then with something that you put up? What is a good time for it to be around?
I don't know. I think paintings and restaurants and music albums have kind of lifespans. So maybe an image really fits really well and it sticks around. Maybe after a year.
Well, that was an interesting response on the line. You might need to repeat that.
Well,
we're having some line trouble. We might have ended this interview. I'm not sure. It's funny because I'm looking at the fan in your back room and it's moving very, very slowly. So the line speed is very slow. And that was the end of the interview. Didn't really intend on it, but we had some technical difficulties. It looks like Jacob might be coming in. Jacob.
Hey.
You there again? You've moved sideways too. That's interesting. Well, this is almost musical, but I think we're better off with the beginning of this interview. Jacob, I see the screen.
I'm here.
You're back? Okay. We've had some interesting stuff, some musical tunes playing.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll just splice it all together.
Also, you're talking about perfection and permanence and the imagery that you put on the walls and what permanence means for that.
I think it can be. Yeah, I just think that it can be. I guess the best way to speak about it is like one example would be a woman that walks by and she says like, "Are you going to get a permit for that?" And she's more worried about it getting painted over than I am, and I think it's just like the difference in accepting like, I've put it up, like I've done my work and contributed and like left it to kind of grow, and then if that's for a day, if it lasts longer, that's really cool. But I don't know, it's just like the cultivation of it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Cultivation of it, like you've taken a stance, you've put it up and made your statement, and it's just a matter of who's going to see it at that point. If it makes an impact.
Exactly.
Okay, so you've already told us what you've got going on for Art Week. You've got 3 murals, and you've provided those addresses. Anything
Four.
else?
We have 4 of them.
Oh, you're going to
4
be doing.
murals.
Okay, so there's a
Yeah.
4th mural, which we've talked about before. But
There's
tell me about that.
There's just 2 of them at near the Roosevelt Shopping Center. It's kind of neat. It'll be on both sides of, so that you'll be on the north side and the south side of the building. So it'll be pretty neat. Just overnight, we'll have artwork on 2 opposite sides of the street. So I'm excited for that.
Good. And future projects? Anything in mind?
Oh, just cover every blank wall that we can put some paint on. So, yeah, I think it'll just kind of keep leading to other projects. So
Great. Keep the energy going.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Yeah, well, thank you. You know, today we've had on the show, we've had Jacob Cooperman. Jacob, thanks a lot. I really appreciate you sharing your time and thoughts about yourself and your art.
No, it was my pleasure. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me about some art. I appreciate it.
Great, thanks. Art Week is June 19th through June 26th. Check out artweek.com to see virtual and online events, and use the tip jar if you see art that you like and you want to support the artist, or even buy their work if that's something that strikes you. This is Dan Troxel signing off.
See ya.
Hi, I'm David Safaris. We're here at Visionary Services. We're a IT consulting firm in Des Moines, Iowa. And we're in the East Village right now in our office. There's no one here, of course, because COVID. And we have just this opportunity through Art Week to share our corporate art collection. So we're going to take a look at some pieces, talk about the history of the collection, and just kind of see where it goes. So we're standing here in front of some of the Swoon pieces, and Swoon is an artist out of Brooklyn, and she has been doing wheat pasting and paper-based art for many years. And I kind of came across her work probably 10 or 15 years ago, one of the first artists that I really became very interested in following. And a lot of people ask how we acquire the art, and I think it's really important to know that like it took 15 plus years to get all this art. We didn't go out at one time and just suddenly acquire a bunch of art, but just over a long period of time, every 6 months, every year, we go find something that would fit into the collection. And so I don't really recall the order in which these all showed up, but Callie does Swoon. Callie does really great pieces. These are actually etchings in linoleum, and then she block prints it and then colors it. This is then on top of found wood. This piece here incorporates the block print and then kind of, cut paper layered on top of colored fabric, on top of a board. So you get, a lot of layering, a lot of texture. I love her ability to, if you get in close, the emotion and expression and feeling that she gets worked into pieces. This piece I think just has a great, just you can see the emotional connection within the piece. So
those are unique pieces, right? It's not a production, you think?
So these, there are multiple pieces, but a lot of them, because they end up being hand colored, they're not like reproduced. They're not lithographs or screen print. So they probably all have some type of variation within the edition. So maybe this is a hand cut paper, wouldn't be the same across all of them. This, I think, would be considered an original. But the way she does even her originals, and I shouldn't talk for Callie if she ever sees this, I might get it wrong. But she'll reuse the block in various places. So it won't be the only place that she'll use this image of Ben. But this composition, etc., she might call that a unique or an original within the series. So hopefully I got that right. But we love Swoon. She actually came to Des Moines, as you know, which was fantastic, and gave a little talk at the Art Center, and that was great to have time. And she's actually being shown at Lumberg Gallery here in Des Moines now, so if people are interested, they can go check her work out at Lumberg's. Play on the Warhol his famous soup can image on that, and I always kind of liked it because I thought it was kind of his take, take it to street art. Whereas Warhol was taking, I guess, an everyday object and trying to make kind of pop art, fine art out of it. And then Obe, who's a street artist, graffiti artist, takes the same imagery but then tears it, kind of deconstructs it and tears it apart like it's on the street. So I thought that was kind of an interesting nod to tie the pop art down to what Shepard Fairey is doing. And yeah, for all I know, Shepard Fairey had none of that in mind, right? So,
and those are like coming together, so when you want to get them, you have to get them all together.
They came out at different times, so I had to kind of track them down from various people to get them all in the same place. So, yeah.
Do you know if you made like corners or that was all only?
I think those are the four, yeah, in that series. Yeah. So,
Okay,
yeah.
we get one.
So this area has some great Shepard Fairey pieces. Shepard Fairey's been doing artwork for probably 20 years. A lot of street artwork, probably one of the leading street artists, or some people now say urban artist or graffiti artist. Certainly in the United States, one of the leading artists in that genre. One thing I like about Shepard Fairey, he has great imagery, very strong, very recognizable, but also he's going to take on his social causes and not back away from what he's seeing going on around him, whether it's, he's taken on everything, women's rights, environment, capitalism, racism. He has definitely done some pieces talking that talk to him being arrested multiple times. I don't think it would be hard to find some pieces where he's talking about social justice, which is obviously now become another hot topic. So I think one of the problems or challenges of building a corporate art collection is we really don't want to turn anybody off. We want this to be a very inclusive work environment, and we want people to enjoy the artwork. But at the same time, we're of the moment, right? So some artwork that talks about equality, we are the people. This gets into a little bit of like maybe corporate capitalism, dollar signs, and Yeah, oil barrels, and it's done with another artist. I can't remember his name, but the Dia de los Muertos image is the other artist. I can't remember his name. And then this one is just really more of a piece, mandala. Not really a lot of statement there, other than just great imagery. And so I thought it was a nice balance for this little section of the artist, but or for this artist. So I really like this piece, though. By the way, I don't know. I don't really have a favorite piece of art, but I think sometimes when you see a piece of artwork and it is truly of the moment and it's something that's going on, and then this really resonated for me. The minute I saw it, I thought it was a little controversial turning the flag into the headdress, but also this was a point in time where the conversation was about Muslim Americans and their rights within the United States. So I thought the We the People campaign, if anybody wants to go Google that, there were, I think, maybe 8 or 10 other images that went with this piece that.
So where did you see this image for the first time? Were they the cover of magazines, or how did it get to succeed to get these printed out?
I think this was part of a series that was done as a fundraiser and if you go back and look, they actually put these images, I think maybe in the New York Times, and I have some of the newspapers and they were printed so that people could use them as placards and marches and things, which I thought was a very creative kind of guerrilla marketing, and also, just great messaging, a really creative way to do it. And then along with that, he was selling some of the prints. There's a smaller edition, smaller size that's closer to those, and then this is the larger size.
And those come in that way on the wood board, right?
Yeah, so those are on wood. This is just a sheet of paper. But to me, this is the type of image you see it one time, you'll never forget it.
So you succeeded to have one piece out of 2.
On that.
How did you do that?
So people ask me, I guess, frequently, where does the art come from? Generally speaking, we're having to buy art from the secondary market. It's pretty hard to get Shepherd Berry pieces directly from the Obey brand website. I'm not going to sit there all day hitting refresh on my browser to do that, but over the years, I've collected enough art that I know people work in galleries. I was at various times pretty active in some of the art chat forums. So, you kind of meet people, you see what they have, what they're trading, and yeah.
That's a good one. Very nice.
So I just came up and adjusted this piece, so I'll tell you just a quick funny story. We normally have 30-some people working out of here, and I walk around the office, I love the art, I'm always looking at it, and I noticed that a piece, not this one, but a piece on this wall was kind of always out of balance, and I thought maybe the cleaning people were knocking it, or people were walking by and being careless, and so I would come in, I'd put my stuff down, and I'd come in and adjust this piece of artwork. And one morning I noticed that there was someone sitting over here and they just started laughing. And I went, you have been intentionally tilting this artwork so that I come into work twice a week and come over and adjust it. That's what people do to you.
Oh my god. Is that your office atmosphere?
Yeah,
so.
Kind of funny, but anyway, so don't mess with the artwork. So I wanted to talk just for a minute about Sandra Chevrolet. She's a Canadian artist, and again, kind of like the Shepherd Berry, when I started seeing her artwork, it was immediately recognizable, very strong. She has a very cool message, and what she started doing was painting mostly female figures, where she would paint the hair, the eyes in a very detailed, correct way, but then superimpose different types of cartoon characters or superhero characters. And she had this really interesting dialogue that went with it, kind of about the struggle that women have in modern society to put on this perfect image on the outside, but then she's kind of showing what's going on really in the brain or in the mind, the challenges of trying to be a superhero and trying to be perfect, but having all these struggles and challenges that are really going on within. So I thought that was great. There's another one over there we can take a look at. She is a super talented artist, and if you wanted an artist to take a look at, whose pieces are not hard to find, not super pricey that they would be priced out. I think she has a really cool thing on her. Want to take a look at this one too? So this one, same thing. This is watercolor on paper, but same thing. So you can see the hair is perfectly done, the lips, the mouth. But then if you look at the imagery, it kind of is about anxiety and sorrow and what might be going on in someone's mind that you don't normally see. So
Very consistent.
yeah.
Is that Audrey Hepburn? Maybe from the back, because it looks like Marilyn Monroe.
Right. Yeah.
And then for some Audrey.
Yeah.
Kind of like
Yeah.
picture.
So I think these she's using kind of famous people, but then she has many more where it's just models that she's working with, I think. So yeah. We have a piece by Edgar Camacho, a local Des Moines artist. Wanted to give him a shout out here because he has been very active in the Des Moines community and a supporter of the Art Week events over the last few years. So we're happy to grab one of his pieces for the collection. So this is David Olabayo. He lives over in the Iowa City area. He does these amazing beadwork panels. So if you were to zoom in really close, these are all little tiny beads that are pressed into the board. It just glued into it, and it's on a wooden panel. This is our main conference room for Visionary. So we have a few more swoon pieces. We have a unique on paper, really famous image of hers that was in New Orleans. And then some other pieces here. You can see again the block printing style that she uses.
So the three of swim, right?
Yep, all these and all those are swoons. Yeah. This is worth looking at. If people are interested in swoon, I would really recommend just taking a look. She has a number of videos where she's given talks about her work. I guess I should say, as much as Shepherd Ferry is about social causes, Swoon is definitely out there working the streets for any number of social causes, from women's rights to social justice, this specifically the environment, oceans. That's, I think, why Swoon and Shepherd Ferry, I think, are so easy to get behind and support, because making beautiful art, but they're also supporting causes that I think are important. So this piece is great, though. She had a huge piece in New Orleans. Would definitely be worth checking out. And then also her artwork is accessible. If you're starting an art collection and we're looking for an internationally known artist that you can buy prints for that are attainable. Then I think she would be a great place to start. And Ben was super nice to do this. So, like 3 years ago when we did the plein air event with the Viaduct Gallery, Ben really surprised us with this piece.
Is it a light one?
Yeah, so we painted it outside in
Oh,
the
I
park.
remember, yeah.
You know, most of the canvases were 18, 24-inch canvases, and then Ben showed up at this piece, and I thought, man, you know, that's really, really cool. So we decided to put an offer in on that and bring it into the office. So
Great, no, it's, for sure, it's a good one.
yeah, really strong Des Moines imagery. The colors are great. Just kind of happened actually to fit in pretty well with our
It's
office.
so perfectly
Yeah.
with your office, this is amazing.
Yeah, and that's what's fun about art, and you know, just getting to know the artists, getting to know where they work and live, and then being able to share that within the office space. I think this used to be in a back room, and we were able to open this up a little bit and bring it out here. So I think that's going to make a big change for this space. So, yeah. So
What do we have here? For me, like,
these are things that haven't made the wall right now, I guess. So,
Good. I think I remember.
oh yeah. That's Callie.
Yes.
That's what's going on there. Crash was a pop artist that well, he's still going. Yeah, he's still alive, so you can go find Crash pieces. I don't know, I just really like that piece.
Well, thank you. Thank you for this amazing tour. I learned so much. I think it was like a real museum. Never seen the species like my entire life. So I think it was very easy for me to have access and have the description and some of the stories behind. So thank you so much for your time, and thank you Art Week for having this virtual gallery tour, and thank you David as well.
Great. Thank you, happy to do it. I would like to encourage everybody to participate in Art Week. I've got my Art Week 2019 t-shirt on.
Yes.
Happy to be a supporter of the Des Moines arts, and just want to put a plug out to Rachel and Summer and all the people, Tatiana, Alan, everybody who's really put a lot of work into making events happen and getting people interested and being creative and making sure that Art Week lives on.
Still in 2020.
Despite the challenges and things, but those challenges have been met, and it's super to see people being creative and solving problems and celebrating arts in Des Moines.
Right.
So,
Always.
yeah.
Don't give yourself.
absolutely. So thank you.
Thank you.